Hi, it's Donna Shea. I'm social emotional learning specialist in Massachusetts, and I'm doing another in a series of short webinars about anxiety during the coronavirus outbreak in the world. Yes, today's April 2nd, Thursday, April 2nd. Yesterday, it was really interesting. I was watching online and just listening to people and seeing this kind of uptick in the anxiety that we all have. Certainly it's there, but yesterday seemed a lot worse for people that I know and people around me. And my thinking about that is it was April 1st. So it's a new month, and it was also April Fool's Day. And I'm thinking we were all just hoping that we would wake up and it would be some ginormous worldwide April Fool's joke. And I think what's happening is that as we keep getting notified that things are getting pushed further away, and maybe there won't be school, and for some states there isn't school to the end of the year, and um, activities and vacations being canceled, concerts being canceled, things that we were looking forward to is creating every day another sense of loss. So just as we're trying to recuperate from the previous day's loss, we're hit with yet another loss, and it's becoming really traumatizing, I think, for many of us. So I have a short webinar about some of the anxiety things that we're experiencing. I'm not giving a lot of answers or solutions, more just of an awareness of what other people may or may not be feeling so that we can have a little empathy for what everyone is going through, because everyone is going through things differently. Let me share my screen. And from the beginning here. All right. So we're all feeling anxious. I think we can agree that everyone is experiencing some form of anxiety in the situation. And for many of us, it's situational based on what's going on in the world. And for other people, it's exacerbating the anxiety that they already live with. So I think 100% we should be able to agree that we're all going through it. I think what's important is we should consider that people are worried or anxious about different things that are going on in this climate. Some of us might be worried about something more than another thing. So this is the themes that I'm seeing in terms of what we're worried about. Of course, number one, many people are worried about their health or the health of the people that they love. So elderly family members that we can't see. Some parents are in nursing homes and we can't even go visit them, which is very distressing. Then we have our family members that are immunocompromised for whatever reason. They are more at risk of having serious complications with this virus, and so we're struggling to keep them safe in a very uncertain situation. There are people who work in the healthcare fields, the ones that are taking care of the people that are sick and their family members. So, you may have a mom that's a nurse or a dad that's a doctor or, another relative who's a CNA, emergency responders. They're all being more exposed to this virus than most of us are. Of course, we worry about infants and children, and even though they don't seem to be as prone to having as many complications, of course we don't want our kiddos to get sick, or being just able to take them to their well checkups is a concern. And then we're worried about ourselves. And I don't know if anybody else is experiencing waking up every day and making sure you can still smell and taste and all of these things that, do I have a temp, do I not? Oh my gosh, I coughed. It's also allergy season, so we're throwing ourselves into overdrive about what is going on with our own health as well. Many folks are worried about finances. There's lots of people losing their jobs, at risk of losing their small businesses if this doesn't end in a way that we can all get through. People who are living off their retirement accounts or who are planning on retiring have taken a hit in their finances. And just in general, how are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to feed everybody? How are we going to keep our mortgages paid? And then there's the economy as a whole. What is this going to look like when it's finally done? How are we going to be? Hopefully it'll, if there's optimism about it rebounding, because, we're still we're sort of bottlenecked up and, we'll go back to what we're doing, or is it going to crash us? We don't know. It's an unknown. Still, other people are more focused on the politics of this pandemic and what's going on. There's a lot of talk about our government's response and how they're responding. There's many things going around conspiracy theories and was this caused on purpose and why, and what does it look like again when it's all over in terms of the political climate and the upcoming election. They're putting primaries off, and is it going to happen, and all of these things, and how can you have an election in the throes of all that's going on? Still, other people might be very worried about education. Suddenly overnight we've become a distance learning society, so we're struggling about how to educate our children. Parents are at home trying to help their kids get educated. Let's not leave out the seniors, especially the seniors in high school, who are missing out on important rites of passage. No prom, no graduation ceremony. What does college look like? If it's a distant, maybe they're not going to the college of their choice in September. Who knows? I'm sure they're worried about that. Then there are the parents of kids who receive special education services, who are on individual education plans, who are not getting the services that they're supposed to be getting because they can't attend school. And then there's food programs at our educational institutions for the kids who need them. And I know a lot of them are still providing the breakfast and lunch for kids, but I'm not sure if all are. So of course, feeding our children who have needed the free lunch or reduced lunch and breakfast is an important concern. There are worries about the mental health issues that come with being so isolated. And some people are alone. So I consider myself fortunate that I'm isolated with at least one other person, but there are some people who don't have anybody and they're sitting home alone. So maybe, and how do we reach out to those who may be suffering this way or in other ways? There's the elderly who don't have access to online support like other people might. And then I also consider that there are people who may not be safe being home with the people that they are confined with in terms of domestic abuse and things like that. So there's all of these things that become a concern during this pandemic while we're isolated. There's no easy answers or solution. I'm not here to offer any. I think what I want to talk about today is just being aware that one person's worry may be very different from another person's worry about these things. Two things I say to the kids that I work with who are anxious is, one is, no worry is ever too weird. If you have like weird thoughts, black thoughts that you think are just totally out there, it's okay. It's part of anxiety. So if you're experiencing anxiety for the first time, it can do some weird stuff. And never worry alone. Take your worry if you can and talk to someone about it. And the last thought I want to leave you with, that is, if someone does talk to you about their anxiety or something they're concerned about, try to remember to use empathy and don't tell them that they shouldn't feel the way that they feel, because every concern right now is a valid one, and no concern is more important than another one. So I'll leave you with those thoughts for this short webinar, and I will be trying to put more together as time goes by. People have told me that they find them helpful, so I'll continue to make them. So wishing you a good April 2nd. Here in Massachusetts, it's cloudy and cold like it usually is in the beginning of April. And say goodbye for now and wish you a good day.